So just last week at the ChinaJoy convention, which aptly named is in China, there was a panel that discussed the future of the Transformers Online game, a new online Transformers game that is going to be free to play and available for PC and console. Now, the company Leiyu, which is a benefactor of Certain Affinity, which was another company, pretty much had a panel and discussed all the little intricate details about what's going to be going on in the future with this. It's going to be available both in China and America. It'll be free to play. It'll be a 3D shooter, and it'll be based on the G1 likeness, specifically that according to their press statement here of the Transformers Generations characters that launched between 2010 and then relaunched in 2012. So judging by what they mean by that, I'm going to assume that a lot of the designs will be based on that of our Generations classic-esque kind of designs, which a lot of the past cell phone games have kind of been barking up. Now, this is not to be confused with a while back in 2012, we had a Transformers MMORPG that went into a beta by a company called Jagex, and this was called Transformers Universe, and it was just a giant bomb. It didn't even get past the initial closed beta. It didn't work out, and it was a giant mess. Now, apparently this one here, this company, Certain Affinity, has worked with a lot of other big 3A titles like Halo and Call of Duty. So we're supposed to be reassured that this is going to be something that's really of high quality and that nature. Now, we don't know much else outside of that right now, but it does show that there's something coming in the future. I'm going to assume this is probably due to the recent spike in interest in no-name brands, like these IPs that really had nothing behind them, but then became humongous money-making things in the likes of, let's say, Overwatch and even that of Fortnite. And it can be said that, you know, you take those two brands that really had nothing before that outside of their company names, and they make tons of money in action figures and stuff like that. That pretty sure if you applied that same kind of mentality to a pre-existing brand with IP and a built-in audience like Transformers, there could be some money to be made here. And let's just hope, in all honesty, that it'll just be a good game. And I mean, we've had, like, anyone who played War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, we had our 3D shooter online games, and those were pretty fun. And High Moon Studios did a very good job initially with those two games. So it's something that if there's a lot of time and effort put into this, and there's a lot of, you know, there's fans behind the material, this could be something that could be really good and enjoyable, especially in this new renaissance now of 3D shooters and how they're played and marketed and become mainstream. But, you know, there's been some stinkers in the past already. I know there's been a lot of 3D shooters that have come out that were supposed to be kind of like the next Fortnite or the next Overwatch, and they just didn't work out. Anthem is one that comes to mind. And it's just, I don't know. I wanna hope that this will work out, because Transformers has a weird history with video games, and it's like I want to say 80% of Transformer games are either not very good or kind of forgettable, which is sad for a brand that really would be really fun in a lot of ways. I've always felt that it'd be really cool if there was a Transformers RPG. I mean, every genre pretty much of Transformers has existed up to this point. I mean, we even had beat 'em ups, we've had fighting games, we've had MMORPG kind of stuff, we've had shooters, we've had side scrollers. I mean, I know I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting. We've even had the cell phone gacha kind of stuff already too, and we have had strategy games. There's so many, but we've never really had a decent RPG. And I think that that's the one genre I'm really curious to see Transformers go down. But hey, we got another shooter, because hey, that's where the money's at right now. And if it's the guys who do Halo and Call of Duty, they know shooters. So let's hope that this does something good, and it's going to be the G1 likeness. If it's free to play, which is what they say here, my only concern then is how they're going to make their money in monetization. Is it going to be something where you customize your character and you got to pay for all the little, you know, pieces and everything to customize your character? Is it going to be something where it's going to be a pay-to-win kind of system where people who do pay are going to get better weapons, and then it's just going to become impossible to play the game if you didn't put some money into it? Which, I mean, in all honesty, if that's the case, I mean, I rather a game that you pay for it and you get the product, rather it be free and you got to piecemeal your way into a good experience. That's something that I've always had an issue with. For every Pokemon Go where you really don't have to put a dime into it to be good at it, there's thousands and thousands of free-to-play games that, in all honesty, if you don't put money into it, you're just wasting your time. And then one day you just turn on your phone and the game just doesn't exist anymore, and all your time was wasted and or your money. So I prefer more something that's an upfront paid experience. But I mean, if this is the way they want to go, I'm hesitant on how they're going to go about it, monetizing it. Probably with loot crate kind of stuff, or whatever you want to call it, treasure boxes. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, this is a Chinese company that supposedly has had success in the past. So we'll see what happens, and keep positive at least, because a good Transformer game is always welcome.